Well, hello. Welcome to Culinary Arts with Mrs. Chase. So today we have a really, really special recipe. We have the best chocolate chip cookies you'll ever have. Now, this recipe actually belongs to Mrs. Hanson, and it is a very secret recipe. She does not give this recipe to just anybody. So we're really lucky that she is willing to share it with all of you today. So I've just finished washing my hands, and my oven is preheating to 350 degrees, so we can get started. Now, I like to make sure I have all my ingredients out before I begin a recipe, because then I can make sure that I have everything. Nothing is worse than starting a recipe and realizing I don't have any eggs or I don't have enough butter. So make sure you have all the things out that you need and you're ready to go. And one of the things with cookies is make sure you set your butter out overnight so that it's at room temperature. It makes it a lot easier to cream with the sugar. So this recipe is available online along with this video. So again, you don't have to remember all the ingredients or write them down. You can print it out yourself. So the first thing, it says to combine the sugar and the butter together. So we have two different kinds of sugar. We have brown sugar, and we're gonna have 1 cup of packed brown sugar, and you really do have to pack it down. I put it in and then rub it against the side of the container to really make sure it's packed in. And you'll put that in your mixer. And then we have 3/4 of a cup of white sugar, and I'll put that in. And then we do our butter, and we have a cup of butter, which is 2 sticks of butter. And again, this is at room temperature, so it's gonna be really easy to work with. I love homemade cookies. We've definitely been a homemade cookie family as my kids were growing up. So I'm gonna start the mixer and let that cream for a minute. Now, one of the things I think that's really important when you are baking is, as you use ingredients, put them away so that you end up with more space and you don't actually double up on something accidentally. So I can, at this point, I can put away my brown sugar, and I can put away my white sugar. I won't have to worry about it. Now, while this is creaming, that's looking great. While this is creaming, you can also do the other dry ingredients and get those ready. So in a bowl, we're going to combine 3 cups of flour. So I have a 1.5 cup measuring cup here. And with flour, you overfill and then you scrape off the top. So that's 1.5 cups. So 1.5 and 1.5 are 3. So that will be my 3 cups of flour. And then I have 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So I don't have actually 3/4 of a teaspoon, so I have to use a 1/2 and a 1/4. It's math, kids. And that is for baking soda. Baking soda comes in a box like this. Sometimes it'll come in a bag, and you just dip in and then scrape off so you have a flat teaspoon or 1/4 teaspoon, or whichever one you're using. So I have 1/2 and then we need 1/4. Perfect. And then baking soda can go away. And then I need 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Now with salt, you need to be really careful. You don't want to pour salt over top of your mixer or over top of anything else like the bowl, because it's really easy to accidentally overfill it. So here's my 1/4. I can shake it so it's flat. And then I need my 1/2. I overfill it in the sink. No harm, no foul, right? And then I can put this away. All right. So this is all the dry ingredients. ingredients and it's ready. You just stir it up in your bowl. So this is ready to go. But I have 2 other ingredients. I have to do a tablespoon of vanilla. That's a lot of vanilla. Usually recipes call for like a teaspoon of vanilla. And this is a tablespoon. You gotta make sure that you read the ingredient list carefully. TBSP on a recipe is a tablespoon. TSP is a teaspoon. And then it says 2 eggs slightly beaten. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, it's just the way it sounds. I have my 2 eggs, and I'm going to put them in a little bowl. And take a fork, if you want to scooch in here a little bit. And you're just going to mix up your eggs like you're making scrambled eggs. And it says slightly beaten, so you don't have to worry about it being perfect. And then this goes in my mixture. And turn that on. Spatula handy so that we can scrape down the sides. I'm going to do this once before I add the dry ingredients. Now you could make this in a bowl. If you don't have a mixer at home, you could make this in a bowl and mix it yourself. You've got strong muscles, you could do this. Just mix it really carefully. Now, I'm done with my measuring spoons and this, so I will put these away too. So now I have my dry ingredients to put in. It's always good to check your ingredient list one more time because you don't want to forget anything. Nothing's worse than a recipe that's forgotten ingredients. So I've done my sugar, my brown sugar, my vanilla, my butter, my 2 eggs, my flour, my soda, and my salt are here, and I have my chocolate chips ready to go. Now this is a guard that goes onto my mixer. Some people put a towel over it just so as you add the flour you don't have this poof of flour coming out. But I'll turn it on and then I'll just slowly add the flour mixture. Now this is a denser cookie. The dough is very dense. It's not a wet dough. So don't be surprised by that. Again, you can put a towel over the top of your mixture and then just slowly slide a spoon of flour in. When it gets down to the end, you just put the last bit in. And put this in the sink. So you want to come in and you can see this. So it's a pretty dense dough. Now the last ingredient is 3 cups of chocolate chips, and I pre-measured these. This is a lot of chocolate chips, and this is when even a sturdy mixer is gonna have a hard time with it. So I'm gonna mix them in slowly. 3 cups of chocolate chips. This makes the magic. I think I'm not gonna do that. I think I'm gonna use my spoon too. Belling. Nice. Look at this. coming up. There you go. All right, so this is definitely heavy dough. Now, I'm going to be carefully lifting this up because these has it all on one side here. There we go. And I will, whoopsie, push all the dough down. There you go. Wow, look at this. So you take this off, and you can see that some has more chocolate chips in some areas than others, so you can hand mix this a little bit just to make sure. Oh, look at me putting it all over the place. Oh, who's eating cookie dough? Somebody's eating cookie dough. And you can put this in the sink. Now, gotta be careful. Hi, Poppy. Poppy's saying hi to you. Are you over here? Don't eat the cookie dough. Not supposed to eat raw cookie dough. Not all. Because you could get salmonella by eating raw cookie dough. No, don't want to do that. But if you eat with your hands, make sure you wash again so that your cooking area is sanitary, right? All right. The last step before you put them in the oven. Now, if you were going to pick a couple things in your kitchen, I've had people say, like, what are some of your favorite things you have in your kitchen? The cookie dough scooper. Now, if you don't have a cookie dough scooper, you can just use 2 spoons and you make kind of a golf ball size cookie and scoop it on your tray like this. We're going to do 12, so 3 rows of 4. I happen to like the cookie dough scooper. Literally best thing I've ever bought because it makes all your cookies really uniform, and so they cook really even. So we'll get our 12 out of here. Oh my gosh, these look so good. So thank you, Mrs. Hanson, for sharing. I've had a lot of chocolate chip cookie recipes that I've made over the years, and I thought I was the cookie connoisseur. Poppy is going to join us. She'll keep us entertained while we're putting the rest of these on the cookie sheet. Hey Poppy, you're all right. She's protecting us today from all of the birds in the backyard, I guess. All right, there we go. So these you put in the oven. It says in the recipe 10 to 12 minutes. For me, that always means 10 minutes. Undercooking your cookies a little bit will give you a soft cookie. If you like a crunchy cookie, put it in for the full 12. So I'll come over here, stick this in the oven. My timer's already preset to 10 minutes. We're ready to go. While these are cooking, if you have an extra tray, it's kind of nice to start your second tray of cookies. So as soon as one tray comes out, you can put the other tray in. So we'll be back in a minute and I'll show you how this works. So the second batch just came out of the oven, and so I'm taking them off and putting them on a cooling rack. If you don't have a cooling rack, you can just let them cool on the cookie sheet if you would like. But when they're cool, of course, you have this lovely plate of cookies that you can share with your family. One other thing that I do like doing is turn one of the cookies over. Let's put a little ice cream on one of them, like that. Squish another cookie down, and you have a lovely ice cream sandwich. I'm not going to try to bite into this right now because I'll make a mess. But notice that I cleaned up my counters and I put things away. I just have some dishes to do. Again, I want to thank Ms. Hanson for this great cookie recipe. They really will be the best chocolate chip cookie you have ever had. So bye for now.